Hi ladies, hope you are doing very well. I'm happy to come your way once again this afternoon to continue with our lesson for the day. Today we are looking at Unit 1 Lesson 2, and we would want to discuss something about the ecosystem and other theories. We are still on the theories underpinning our social environment and human behavior. And I hope you can remember what we discussed last week. Last week we looked at the theory, the construction theory, and then we also looked at critical thinking. And if you don't remember anything, I think I remember saying that you think outside the box when it comes to critical thinking. And the social theory is in 3 levels. You look at the meso, the micro, and then the micro levels. Today we want to look at the ecosystem theory. You remember your biology class, right? You remember your integration class where we talked about the ecosystem. We looked at commensalism, mutualism, parasitism, and all those things. Do you remember? We are not going deep into that. Today we'll be looking at it in relation to our social environment. And so we want to look at what is the ecosystem theory. This theory looks at a child's development within the context of the system of relationship that forms his or her environment. And so every child is born into a family, is born into a society. And the theory tries to look at the child's behavior as he grows in relation to the kind of people he has associated himself or herself with, the kind of environment he grew up, and therefore has influenced his behavior either positively or negatively. And so for the name is very big, and I'll try to see if I'll be able to mention it. I think it's Von Febener's theory, and he defines it in a very complex layers. He says that when you talk about the ecosystem, it is a complex layers of the environment, and each has an effect on the child's development. For him, when we talk about the ecosystem, it is a complex layer of environment, and each of the layers has effect as the child grows. And he goes on to say that this theory has recently been renamed as the bioecological system. Please take note. So another name for ecosystem theory is what? Can I hear you say it? Bioecological system theory. And it emphasizes that a child's own biology is a primary environment, fueling her development. So your own biological makeup is a layer so far as the ecosystem is concerned, and it also fuels or it contributes to your development. Again, the interaction between factors in the child's maturing biology. I remember when you were a child, you used to bath at the back of the house, you don't have a problem. But as you were growing, you realize that now I have some jackets and kitty over there, and so you want to cover yourself. So as you are maturing, your biological makeup would also influence your development. And your immediate environment or community. So the immediate environment can be your immediate family or the nuclear family, the extended family, in the community in which we live in, and then the society as a whole and the state as a whole. So you realize that the layers start from you as an individual, what you are made up of, contribute to your development, your interaction as you are growing with your family, with your community, and within the societal landscape. All these things contribute to your development. And then again, it looks at changes or conflict in any one layer would have a replica effect on the other layer. What does it mean? If there is an issue at the family level, it affects you at the social level. If there is an issue at the community level, it is likely to affect the family as a whole. So to study a child's development, we must not only look at the child as an individual, but we look at the child, his environment, not as an isolation, but we also look at the child, his immediate environment, as well as the interaction that goes on within the larger community. So the ecosystem is not only about the child in isolation, not only about the environment isolation, but the child in relation to the smaller and the larger environment, as well as the individual's biological makeup. Now let's look at the structure of the environment as it's being defined by Bonfen-Bennis. If I'm wrong, laugh a little and then do the correct pronunciation for Madame. It's not everything that we can also go through, so we learn from it. The first thing he talks about is the microsystem. You remember we talked about the micro at the construction theory. Do you remember? Yes, we've met it again. He says that he has divided it into 3 levels again. And the microsystem, this is the layer closest to the child. Can you give me an example? When you were first born, what was your first contact? Your mother, the breast. Even though you don't know how to talk, you have not opened your eyes, but your hand was able to identify the round breast of your mother and put it in your mouth, and then you suck it. So the microsystem is the layer closest to the child, and it contains the structures which the child has direct contact. Give me 2 examples of those structures that the child has a direct contact. Don't forget, I will be expecting your answer at my comment level. Again, at the microsystem, it is made up of the relationships and the interaction the child has with the immediate surroundings. I said what? The interactions between the child and the immediate surroundings is also an explanation to what we refer to as the microsystem. Structures within the microsystem include what? The family, the school, the neighborhood, and childcare environment. And as a teacher, when I talk about the childcare, we are talking about where the baby's home, the kindergarten, the nursery, the KG. All these are childcare, or the house help who has been in the house to help us take care of the baby. All these things come together to form the macro level. Let's look at what happens at this level. At this level, relationships have impact in 2 directions. I said what? Relationships have impact in 2 directions. Both away from the child and towards the child. Wow. Is it not interesting? One of the directions is that the relationship will be away from the child, and the other thing is that the relationship will be towards the child. Let's look at these issues and give examples. For example, a child's parents may affect his beliefs and behavior on the child. Why are you a Catholic? Why are you an Anglican? Because your mother is an Anglican. Because your father is an Anglican. So that is the direct impact of the relationship on the child. However, the child also affects the behavior and beliefs of the parents. Can you give me an example? A child who is not who is a Muslim and decides to become a Christian and do miracles in the house and begin to have a change in behavior can also influence the child. Then let me come very well. When you give birth to a child, you pay one and you pay Osua na se de bia 1 o'clock no besua ubenyi na fe 1 bia aso na wani ate umpo wonya hwesu wuntimi na enti. That is also another influence. So 1 away from the child and 1 towards the child. If the parent would influence the child, that will be towards them, and the child will also have an effect on the behavior and beliefs of the parents. Now he goes on to call these bio-directional influences, and he shows how they occur among all levels of environment. Let's look at that one quickly. The interaction of structures within a layer and interaction of structures within layers is key to this theory. Please let's take notes. So far as this theory is concerned, the interactions of structures, it can be physical structures, it can be laid down rules and beliefs, values. All these things play a major role so far as the ecosystem theory is concerned. At the micro level, the bidirectional influences are strongest and have the great impact on the child. However, interaction outer levels can still impact the inner structures. So the bidirection, bi means what? 2. That is, we said towards the child and away from the child. And when it is towards the child or away from the child, can make a very great impact on the child. And the interaction can also make a very good impact so far as their inner structures. And you know the inner structures we've talked about on the child and the environment as well. Now, the second level is the meso. So we've done with the micro level. Micro level is that the smallest level between the child and the family. Now we move on to the meso level. So if I am to come to your level, to be primary school, JHS and SSS, right? Is that not it? Or basic school, secondary school, and then university level. So I've moved from the primary school or the basic school. I'm now at the SHS level, and the SH level is the intermediary. That is the meso level. This layer provides the connections between the structures of the child's microsystem. Example of the connection between the child's teacher and his parents, between his church and his neighbor. You remember the first one, it was between the child and the parents. Do you remember I said that at the macro level, it is between the child and his parent. Now it is between the child and his teacher and his parent. Madam Pacho, me mama say opesa o de okasa. Madam, me mama say me maybe say we are saying that is the relationship we are talking about. And then between you and your church and your neighborhood, so you have moved from the family level to a bigger level. Then we have the exosystem. This layer defines the layer social system in which the child does not function directly. So within the exosystem, the child does not function directly. Underline that word. The child does not function directly. The structure in this layer impacts the child development by interacting some structures in a microsystem. So for example, parent workplace schedules or community-based family resources are example. Madam Akosia is a teacher. He closes at 5 o'clock and goes home. Between the time, whatever she does at her workplace would have influence on the child, either positively or negatively. So the child may not directly be involved at this level, but he does feel the positive or the negative force involved in the interaction within the system that we are talking about. So at the exosystem, the child does not directly function, but he feels the impact either positively or negatively. Then we move on to the microsystem, that is the bigger. It may be considered as the utmost layer in the child's environment. Give me an example. Monico, Mamtek, Atebubu, all colleges are now tag. You know that you have moved from Monico to a bigger umbrella. Are we together? And our socialization begins to become broader. Because Monico for whom I'm telling for one of my dress and your auntie and our levels. Are we there? Yes. So at this level, it is the outermost layer in the child's environment. While not being a specific framework, this layer is comprised of cultural values, customs, and laws. What did I say? Cultural values, customs, and laws. That is what was within there. It is the values of the community. When you come to Monico, can I go to town without an exit? That Monica will say no. Can I decide to receive visitors without not on a visiting day? No. And we say you are children, you don't know what. You go to Mamtek and you can go out anyhow and come in anyhow. That is what we believe in. Monico feels that anytime you are going out, be identified with your college uniform. That is what we believe in. We go to church every Sunday. But you go to other areas and it is not like that. We have student handbook that we use to operate. I'm running with their family. But when you are caught up with the law, you pick your student handbook and you see that Charlie, I'm in trouble. So take note of the three things that was at the micro system, under the ecosystem: cultural values, customs, and then laws. The effect of the large principles defined by the microsystem have a ascending influence throughout the interaction of all other layers. For example, if it is the belief of the culture that parents should be solely responsible for raising their children, that culture is less likely to provide resources to help parents. Do you understand that statement? When you go somewhere, I said yes or Sana system na can. But the system doesn't make provision for mommy no benyes kadi ashwe the man. A kwanya obefa so ashwe ban there, it is not their problem. But you, it is your duty once you bring the child into this world to care. So this in turn affects the structures in which the parents function. So if you don't have money, it means that you can't take good care of your children. You can't perform your responsibilities towards your children so far as the microsystem is what is concerned, and it will affect the child at that level. So that is one of practical examples that we have so far as this system is concerned. Then we go to the chrono system. The chrono system. That system encompasses the dimensions of time as it relates to the child's environment. I said it's what? It encompasses the dimension of time as it relates to a child's environment. Elements within the system can either be external and it can be internal. An example of this external is the timing of a parent's death. Who will determine when your mother will die, or you will die, or your father will die? It is determined by nature, and that can influence it. Internal, such as psychological issues, changes that may occur within the aging of the child. As the children get older, they may react differently so far as the environmental changes are concerned. And there may be more changes that may occur, and the child is not ready to adapt to these changes that are likely to occur. And as these things goes on, it can influence them either positively or negatively. And let's look at the 4 interrelated types of environmental systems so far as the Bronfeld-Benet's classic radiation is concerned. The theory is so let me use the ecological system theory. Now once is why? So the major ones, we talked about the micro, we talked about the meso, we talked about the exo, and then we talk about the chrono system or the microsystem. So these are the levels, and I've explained it. This is just explanation. These levels ranges from smaller proximal settings in which individuals directly react to large or settings that indirectly influences them. That is the micro level. And the various levels within the ecological system theory are often presented graphically as a series of 4 systems nested around a focal individual, like a set of concentric circles. Let's quickly go to the circles and then look at what happens over there. Okay, this is a pictorial presentation of what the ecosystem is like. Can you see the items? I want you to identify any 2 or 3 of those items, and then let me know how it influences the individual or they influences each other. Let's move on to the next step, to the level of the ecosystem. This is how it works. We have the micro, we have the exo, we have the meso, and then we have the micro. Okay, so I've already discussed the various levels of the ecosystem too, but I want to give you a pictorial representation of it. The first one is the micro level. When you look at the diagram, I said it is represented in a concentric manner. Concentric means in a circular manner. So when you look at the innermost circle, we've written individual. So it refers to the system, that is the micro system, which refers to the system closest to the individual. And this includes people whom they have direct contact with. The example is the parent. So when you look at the micro level, the individual relating to the home, relating to the neighborhood, relating to the school, and then relating to the immediate. So at the micro level, we are looking at the immediate family, few of people in the home, and then if it's a compound house. Then we move on to the meso level, which is in the yellow color. At the meso level, the child moves from the home, the immediate family, now relate to the home, the school, the neighborhood, workplace, and other related, but not to the nation as a whole. So it refers to the interaction which are as a result of an extension of their microsystem, that is the workplace. that, let's move on to the exo. It refers to the setting a person is in, either their surroundings or area. And so we also look at the meso, the exo, parent workplace, the child school, the community services, the mass media, and so on. How the child relates. The child is not directly involved in that, but it has an influence, either positively or negatively, on the child. And then the last one, we look at the microsystem. That is the culture and then the spiritual background the person is exposed to, wherever. We talked about the laws, we talked about the values that. The bigger level of the ecosystem refers to the cultural, the spiritual background that the person is exposed to, either from wherever the person is, and it involves the cultural values, it involves the beliefs, it involves the customs, it involves the laws that are used in governing that nation, that community, or that society, and that also affects the child either negatively or positively. So if you are to take the major levels in the ecosystem, we have the micro, which has to do with the child and the immediate environment. Then we take to the meso, which has to do with the home, the school, the neighborhood, the workplace, of the environment, which the child may be directly or indirectly not involved. And then you have the exosystem, which has to do with the workplace of the parents, the child school, the community, the mass media. The child has no direct link, but it influences the child. And then the last layer is the microsystem, which has to do with the values, the laws, and then the beliefs. So till I come your way next time, I want you to write your comments, your questions, and please read over whatever we discussed. Until then, I wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay home, sanitize your hands, wash them under running water, and remember, you are precious to me. It has been me, your course tutor, the gender champion. Thank you.